It's too confusing for people coming in.
Right.
So we're gonna make this, there's gonna be a stop condition here, here. What am I supposed to do?
So nothing's gonna be touched.
Correct.
We don't have to worry about.
What's gonna happen is, and I walked past there today where all the pavers are,
Yeah.
we may end up probably end up having to put a.
And something
I had nothing to do with that. This
That matches up against the existing pavers, but we won't touch it.
if we had,
This was all done back in 2012.
Right.
There was nothing there, and we know that's there.
But 2013 is when this was started.
Yeah,
So
there was
we're not gonna touch any of that, if anything.
It's just you're gonna need to be adding more.
Right, so if you see, we're gonna pretty much follow the code line, but we're gonna put it.
We ready to go? Okay, good morning. Thank you all for coming to the Lake Avenue Streetscape Phase 2 project. We kicked this off about 5 years ago with Phase 1, and very successful project with our folks here on staff, who I'll introduce you to in a second, and then Jim Lober and Jeff from Kircher Engineering will be speaking as well. So this is a project that the city's wanted for many years, Lake Avenue Streetscape, Phase 1 and Phase 2. As I said, Phase 1 was successful for those folks who live there and the businesses. Hopefully it was successful. It was a headache while it was going on, but as construction always is. But this is a 80% funded program from DelDOT and 20% from the city of Rehoboth Beach. So we're looking at those valuable 80% funds to come through here. From the city, and I'm Sharon Lynn, the city manager, for those who might not know me. Mayor Coons is here in the audience. And staff-wise, we have Director of Public Works, Kevin Williams. Chris Johnson is the communication specialist. She'll be on board communicating everything that we can here. Elizabeth Lingo is the city arborist. And we have Pat Caluzzi, also city commissioner. So with that, we'll have Jim give you some factual information. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As Sharon mentioned, my name is Jim Lober. I'm with the Kershaw Group. We are one of the engineers that represent the city in projects like this. With me today is Jeff Williams, who's the main design energy behind what you see in black and white on the paper here today. So just quickly, I'd like to just go through essentially what, where, and when. What are we doing, where are we doing it, and when are we going to be doing it, so that everybody has a general idea of how this project is going to proceed and affect your daily lives here in Rehoboth. So, as Sharon mentioned, 80% of the funding is coming from the federal government through DelDOT. It is available to us because of the crux of the project focuses on pedestrian safety and traffic calming. So the improvements that we're proposing associated with the project are going to focus on that: pedestrian safety, wider sidewalks, traffic calming, slightly narrower travel lanes. We're also going to be providing ADA compliance. Most of the stuff out there today is ADA compliant because the city does a good job of keeping up with those types of things, but some isn't. So as we go through everything that we put in, we'll also provide ADA compliance, cross slopes, ramps, truncated domes, those types of things. We're also going to provide some drainage improvements. There are some low spots that don't drain very well today. There are some pipes that are mixed materials. There are some pipes that have holes in them, things like that we've discovered along the way. So we'll be replacing those as we go. And also some stormwater management. We're going to install one stormwater management BMP in the median between Olive and Maryland that will provide a little bit of quality control for the water that runs off of the streets and then into Lake Gerard. As far as where, the scope of the project, the western boundary is going to be the intersection of Lake, 3rd, Olive, and Maryland, where they come together there in a bit of a sea of asphalt at the moment. We're going to fix that as we go. Then moving east along Olive, we're going to proceed about 215 feet past the intersection of 2nd and Olive to pick up some of the bad drainage and some of the poor grading that's along that length. We're also going to go from that point east along Maryland to the intersection with 2nd and encompass the entirety of that intersection. And then from the intersection of 2nd and Olive, we're going to move south to Rehoboth Avenue, and then the project will stop just at the existing crosswalk that was installed with the improvements along Rehoboth Avenue that were done a little while back. So to see that in pictures, here's an aerial. As you can see, Rehoboth Avenue running left to right across the bottom. The existing portion of Lake Avenue that was completed at an angle there running from the southwest to the northeast. That's the portion there that we've completed previously. And now we're going to do this piece, picking up where we left off at that intersection I mentioned of Lake, 3rd, Maryland, and Olive, and then moving east and along Olive and Maryland, and then south along 2nd to Rehoboth. So when, which I'm sure is the biggest question on everybody's mind, we're going to start in the fall of 2020, sometime after Labor Day in that general vicinity. What we're calling Phase A is going to be a very small portion of work at the beginning of the job near that intersection with Lake to tie into the existing work that was completed recently. Phase B will be Maryland and 2nd from that intersection, then south to Rehoboth Avenue. And then Phase C will be the Olive portion in the median that is between Olive and the median. And then again, the work to be completed spring of 2021 prior to Memorial Day before the season gets kicked up again. So all the work to happen from fall through the winter to the spring, again, finished for the summer of 2021. So in pictures, there's the intersection at the end of Lake, where we're going to start with a small amount of work to tie into the existing work, the previous project that was finished, then proceeding with Maryland and 2nd, and then proceeding with the portion along Olive to wrap that up. So hopefully I didn't go through that too quickly for you guys, but that's the basics. And if we have any questions, we're happy to answer everything we can. Yes, ma'am.
Staging area? Where will you have your staging?
The way that the project is going to be staged is that, do you want to pass that around? Okay. The way the project's going to be staged is that we're going to close down the roads that we're working on in the moment, other than to anyone but local traffic. And the amount of space that we have closed down within each phase of the project will allow us to stage within each phase on the portions that we're not currently working on at the moment. Okay.
And what about the parking? What's going to happen with the parking that's currently there?
I believe all of the parking, Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all the parking that's currently there is to remain. It will be disturbed, obviously, during construction. But when we're finished, parking will be essentially restored.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone? Anything?
What does the stormwater management area in that little triangle, what's that look like in concept or like?
It's what everybody would know as a rain garden. It's gonna be we're gonna dig a bigger hole than you'll see when we're finished, but then we're gonna fill that hole back up with planting soil. It's a mix of peat moss, sand, and mulch, and then it'll have under drains. And then what we'll actually see at the surface will be a depression that's somewhere on the order of 2.5 feet deep maybe, with soft slopes. And then you'll see a mulch planted bed that'll have a catch basin in it as an overflow. So water will drain off of the street into that. It will pool up in there, slowly drain down through the mix, the planting media that I mentioned, get into the underdrain. That underdrain will take it to a catch basin. And then if in larger storms, when that filtration through that surface that happens slowly, when that can't handle it, then the water will build up, overflow into the catch basin, and then that will take it through to the pipes. I should point out that the pipes that we're connecting to are existing drainage pipes that currently go to the lake. So we're gonna be replacing that pipe because it's currently in bad condition, but it's water that gets to the lake now. It will get to the lake when we're finished. It will get there slightly cleaner, and it'll get there through a new pipe. So. Patrick?
Will there be any addition or deletions to the current intersections affected by stop signs, adding or subtracting?
Yes, that's a very good question, and it's something I'd like to point out when we get a minute on one of the boards, because we're changing the intersection at Lake, 3rd, Olive, and Maryland significantly. That is currently not, in my mind, an intersection. It's just a large swath of asphalt where everybody passes through. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend that median, and we're going to neck down the sidewalk from the sides, and we're going to create a formalized 4-way stop condition intersection, so that you're proceeding east on Lake, you'll have a stop sign. You're proceeding south on 3rd, you'll have a stop sign. But now when you're proceeding west on Olive, you'll have a stop sign. And as you come out of the parking lot here at this facility, you'll also have a stop sign. So you'll have a 4-way stop condition.
Also the intersection of Second and Olive.
Correct. We're going to add a stop sign there as well.
Are you turning that straight? Second's gonna turn now instead of at an angle?
We're taking Second, and it currently comes into Olive at an acute angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend it a little bit to bring it in at a 90. Yes. Yes.
Well, it actually comes in at a 90, but it's a lot wider. So we're gonna lessen that radius turning east onto Olive. We're gonna make it an actual intersection and put a stop sign there.
Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna ask, to make it easier, could you show us, because it's kind of hard to say.
Sure.
all of it,
Sure.
Could you show us on plans so that we can understand maybe a little more easily? Thank you.
So this one here. This is the existing condition. Lake, 3rd through to the parking lot here, Olive, and Maryland. Right? So you can see these are the curbs, the median, sidewalks here. So this entire area right now is all an open swath of asphalt that can get pretty confusing. Lake has to stop, 3rd has to stop, and then 3rd has to stop here, but Olive continues through uncontrolled. So in the proposed condition for that, this median gets extended significantly, this sidewalk gets brought in significantly, and this large soft radius gets brought in to a tighter angle. And there's now a crosswalk here and a stop sign here as well. So you'll have stop condition, stop condition, stop condition, stop condition. Olive will remain one way, and Maryland will remain one way.
And then the other question I have, where it's extended, where you're showing it's extended, is that, because I'm on the Mayor's Advisory Committee on Trees, so I'm just wondering, what is that material? Is that going to be?
This will be green space.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are plans. It's not part of this project because it's not an element of the project that can be reimbursed by the federal funding, so it's going to be a separate project. But there are plans in the works to, you can see here's the other end of that median, and then the existing median ends in here somewhere, and we're extending it. There are plans to replant that entire median with stormwater inside. So it's gonna be renewed and it's gonna all be green space.
Does this include a revised lighting plan for the entire project?
It does not. We have not incorporated lighting into the.
Would that be part for federal funding?
I believe it would be if that were deemed necessary. It's just, we don't believe that it needed to be approved for this phase.
While there is lighting, as you come across Olive, will that remain?
The lighting that's out there will remain, yes. I believe, Jeff, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are some that need to be relocated based on
Right.
the new layout.
The existing light bulbs, if they're in a location where we're gonna maintain the curb, they will stay. If not, we'll relocate them in the same area, but inside that brick paver ribbon that we put behind the curb and between the curb and the sidewalk.
That be City of Rehoboth or Delmarva?
That's a good question. Do you,
They are presently Delmarva.
then yeah, then there's no plan to change that. I believe Delmarva owns and maintains those, yes. So.
But is now not the time to be planning for that? Rather than go and dig it up afterwards or boring?
Planning for the city taking
Lighting?
them over from
A
Delmarva.
lot of people walk through there. There ought to be a lighting scheme, even if it's not a design, even if it's not in this project.
So I think that, any of the utilities that we come across, we'll speak to them. I know during phase one, it was a long shot to do anything like that, so we can cover that again. That's the best I can tell you right now.
Is there an opportunity to switch to the LED lighting there as we're going through this process, to Walter's point, by having a lighting plan, since we're trying to upgrade to LED lighting everywhere else? Is there an opportunity?
Did we do that on
here
phase
during
one?
this
We did that,
process?
didn't we?
I know we improved some of those Cobra arms, but I don't know whether we put LED.
Yeah, that's something we can look into as well. Yeah.
Will the topography of the old triangle be greatly lowered or trees all be gone?
At the moment, I believe the plan is to remove most of the trees and replant it. I believe the intent is to save some of the more important ones. You're talking to a guy that doesn't really know landscaping, species, those types of things. I do know that people that do know those things are on it, and they're working on the design.
So is it part of this plan or not?
The grading within the islands to build the stormwater is part of this plan, and what will need to be removed to do that will be removed. We designed that originally to try to avoid some of the larger plants, so I don't think you'll see a big impact on what's existing because of this project, because of stormwater management construction. But I do believe the city has an intent for sort of a bigger plan to create a different type of atmosphere there than what currently exists. I'm not privy to those details. To be honest, I don't think those details have been worked out yet. That's something that, like I said, people with that expertise are working. So
Especially in the planning, there ought to be some ideas on that now, because it's a strand of trees. And visibility is also passive security.
sure. And again, the people who are working on that are experts in that field and have done other projects for the city, and I'm sure going to work this one similarly to the way they have in the past. But it's not part of the federal funding, so it just needs to be its own animal, for lack of a better phrase, and it's been pulled out. Jim, I think more of this. Pulled out.
I've never really-
Okay, I didn't want to throw you under the bus if you.
No, I can help you.
All right, great.
I was just seeing what you were gonna come up with, that was pretty good.
Ms. Lingover.
Hi. So we have somebody working on the landscape design right now. Since the project is over a year away from being planted, it's a little early for the landscape design, honestly. But we have had meetings, we've talked to the breakers and some other interested involved parties, and working with the landscape designer. For the triangle specifically, we're gonna pull out a lot of the overgrown shrubs, a couple in the corner that really aren't great for visibility, as well as being 40, 50 years old, and quite a few of them are non-native. And so whatever comes out, we're going to be re-landscaping the triangle, and then we're going to be even landscaping the rain garden basin as well, so landscaping is gonna be native, but the intent is to do all the landscaping with natives, and then, and speaking to our designer as well, she is focused on building for what you wanna say, like climate resiliency. So plants that are gonna survive 5, 10 years, the way our environment is going, and with salt air and our wonderful challenges at the beach that even reach that far back. And then on top of the triangle, we're also going to be upgrading the grassy lawn in front of the breakers. So we'll have a few different pockets there with native canopy trees and some surrounding perennials and maybe some grasses. And then we also plan on, yep, exactly. And then also plan on installing a bench area with a companion spot next to it. So if you are in a wheelchair, you have a spot to wheel on over and sit next to everybody on the bench. And then hearing today, maybe lighting is something we can incorporate with the trees is uplighting, for a little bit of accent, if because that's not crazy expensive compared to installing light posts. So.
Liz, I was just gonna ask you, where are the benches going? Because I think that's a great idea, have the canopy trees with the benches.
Yeah, as I said, we haven't finalized any of that, but my intent, I can point it out, and like I said, this could fluctuate, but my intent was to kind of have it somewhere in this corner area, probably back on here, so that we can pour concrete, because we're using the bench, so maybe having it come like that, but that's still up for debate.
You'll have ADA encroachment into that since it's the end of the sidewalk.
Yes, there'll be an ADA ramp there. It'll all blend together.
Thank you, Liz.
Ma'am?
Keep
Go ahead.
Is there a need for benches or any type of seating within the triangle itself?
I think we talked about it and said, probably not, because we're looking at that more as a through, so there's plenty of benches and seating on the other side, and then we'll have that on this side, so I think that'll be more of a walk by than we want people to stop and hang out.
Yeah, I would say from a pedestrian safety standpoint, the park is right there. Let's encourage them to not hang out in the middle of the.
Look pretty as you walk by, but you can look at the nice landscaping, but keep moving. Somebody else had it, Patrick.
Will the current width of the travel lanes on both Olive and Maryland change?
Olive, yes. Maryland, no. Right? Maryland stays the same.
I think they're both about the same, between 11 and 12 feet, which will be the same as Lake Avenue is.
So will that affect the southern curb line on Maryland there and the northern curb line on Olive? Will that change from existing?
Not very much. I mean, what we're doing is we're putting bump outs on there to channelize the traffic down the lane and putting the parking up against the curb.
So where we're not creating this channelized effect to create the intersection, it will remain where it is.
Correct.
Right, yes,
North
correct.
and south?
North on Olive and south on Maryland, yes. But then once you get beyond that down here, obviously, we're pulling it in.
Any more plant questions? I'm gonna sit down. Oh, sorry.
I'm the general manager of the Breakers.
Oh, okay,
So
perfect.
that lawn area that you're talking about, we end up maintaining and taking care of. Are you planning on taking that tree out that's in there, or what's the
We
plan?
haven't, that little holly, we haven't decided, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I'd say looking at it, more than likely,
okay.
would be my general thought, but.
Is there a way we can get more information, like ongoing as things develop on the?
Yeah, so-
Because we look at it as well.
Yeah, so if you want, the city website, Chris keeps it pretty updated with all our I believe it's under projects. So when we get the design, we'll probably post it on there. So I would keep checking back on that one, and then especially, I was gonna say, if you signed up with your email, they'll probably send you updates as well. All right, anybody else? All right.
The parking is gonna remain, parallel, not
Yes.
forward and.
No, there's no 90-degree parking. It's all.
This may go back to a plant question, I'm not sure.
I don't know, I'm sitting down now. No, go ahead.
But the majority of that ability to affect in planting or replanting?
So I think our goal was to do pockets to keep I mean, because it's a big space if you look at it, and we didn't want to take out the landscaping that they had put in. I think they have some Rosa Sharon along their front porches, front patios. So I think we were planning on reclaiming and maintaining the whole area exclusive of their shrubs, but still keeping a good amount of green open space.
Yeah, just a consideration going forward, there is an irrigation system there, so obviously that should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, so it actually, hopefully, as long, we spoke to the breakers about it, and as long as it's still working, we're gonna, and we can adapt it to our use, we're gonna try and kind of incorporate that into our plans instead of ripping it out and putting in a new one.
And Liz, I forgot to ask you, what is the budget for the planting, the landscaping? Is there a budget yet for that?
It's in the CIP for not this fiscal year, but the next fiscal year.
Do you have a number for that?
Yes. I mean, without the design, it's hard, but a placeholder was about 50,000.
Just wanted to get a general idea. Thanks.
On your drawing number 3, as you turn the corner, as you come from the west, so many trucks come into town because the only way to get there is on Lake Avenue from the west. And you come down and you put a bump out there to reduce the time for people to get across the roadway. The tractor trailer is going to be able to make that turn, because I would assume Olive is still going to be westbound only.
Olive will be westbound only, yes. So yeah, this radius that we're installing here corresponds to what would be passable by a large truck, a large joint truck.
So you'll have.
I assume this is.
Jim, if I could, we're getting some notes from people that are live streaming. If we could get back to using the mics. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, both questions and answers.
You can grab that one off.
They're not able to hear it on live stream.
So I assume this is the turning movement you're referring to, east on Maryland, right on Second. So yeah, we're putting in a very large soft radius there that admittedly does bump out from where it does today because of the wanting to shorten that crosswalk for the pedestrians and protect the parking. But geometrically, it allows for that turning movement.
So if you bring your hand down there, is that a center line between the left turn lane and straight to the right? Or is it one lane through the bump outs?
It's one lane through the bump outs. Everybody will just have to take their turns.
In its worst case, you definitely need to reduce the stop line coming from the post office so that trucks can make a wide turn there. A lot of them go up Maryland Avenue so that they can turn right to come back, but Baltimore Avenue is a tremendous amount of truck traffic, and most of that traffic comes in town into North Rehoboth, or the area north of Rehoboth Avenue. That's their only way to get in there. So needs to, as you come from the post office, the stop line needs to be significantly back so that trucks can make that turn.
I got it. Okay.
When you say
We'll
truck,
take a
I
look.
think we have to be mindful that there are a significant number of tractor trailers. That's what we're speaking of.
Sure.
And beer trucks, red trucks. And
Right.
They turn from Maryland Avenue on the Second going south.
When they come in on Lake, they go left and they go right and they go straight. And it is a real hub. That's one of the reasons the piece of roadway is so torn up there in its current state also, because the twisting of the rear tires on the semis.
Patrick?
So just a question on Maryland there. As I understand it from, help me through this, as you come into the first block there, there would be a bump out that would force traffic into a single lane?
Coming west to east?
Yes.
Yes. So coming from Lake Avenue, then there's a bump out to protect the parking and the extension of the median. So yes, it's one lane through.
It would be one lane.
Yes.
Then it goes into 2 lanes for 1 block and then comes back to 1 lane at the other end?
Maryland Avenue beyond Second, you're talking?
Right there at the end of that block.
No, Maryland Avenue is one-way travel lane through with parking on both sides.
With just one lane or two?
One lane.
One lane,
Okay.
yeah,
With parking on both
with
sides.
parking on both sides.
So currently, there is, at the end, there's 2 lanes.
Correct, and we've necked that down for traffic calming purposes, right?
Will there be a crosswalk from the corner of Olive and Second, and to get across the street to the pond?
A crosswalk in this location? I believe so, yes. The striping's not on this sheet, but yes. Yeah, yeah. These, you can see that this represents an ADA ramp, and then there's a corresponding one across the street. So I apologize, we have to separate the information that's on the sheet so the striping doesn't show on here, but there will be a piano key there, yeah.
That's why we're making that more of a corner than what it is right now. There will also be signage approaching those crosswalks telling people to yield or stop to the pedestrians in the crosswalk.
But not stop signs.
No.
At Olive?
Um,
Second and Olive, there's going to be stop signs now.
oh, yeah, Second
Yes.
and Olive, there'll
Yes.
be a stop sign there.
Yeah.
Coming down Olive, there will be a sign 20 feet before the crosswalk, letting people know that they have to stop or yield to the pedestrians. At all crosswalks, we put that.
So what is the net gain or loss in parking, number of parking spaces?
That's a very good question, Stan. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact number. I know we did the best we could to maintain it. I know we're losing a couple to grading along Second, access to the parking garages and things like that. I'll count it up and I'll get it to you.
Can we get access to the PDFs of all these drawings?
Sure.
I find these more helpful than.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm not against that. You guys put them online, I guess. Sure. Seeing none? Going once? Going twice? Go ahead.
One last question. All funding for the project has been approved?
I'm going to defer to Delta on that one. You made it to the last question, Todd. Todd is here from Delta. Yes.
Based on cost estimates,
I'm sorry?
based on cost.
Based on cost estimates, yes. We've done a construction estimate, submitted it to Delta for their review, and everything's been worked through that process. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you participating in the process.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. If you have additional questions, just email, send them in, or call. We'll be happy to keep you updated. Thank you.